If you couldn't tell from the title, today we're talking inventory management. But first things first, I'm Crystal Gazer and welcome to my channel where we talk all things Guild Wars 2 related with a leaning towards PvE content. If you like what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the little bell icon for future notifications. Okay, so to open your inventory, you press I, unless of course you've reassigned the key, in which case it's wherever you've put it and I can't help. A quick aside though, if you have lost what button does what, then hit escape, go to options, click on the mouse button, and there you'll find all your assigned keys and their functions, and you can remap them whenever you want. Right, back to the inventory then. So you found the right button and you've opened your inventory panel. What does this all mean? The slots on the left here that run down, they are for your inventory bags. The slots on the right are for the individual items that you're putting into your inventory. These slots at the top are your shared inventory spaces. I'll come back to those in a bit. And then next to those, we've got 3 buttons. So this first button lets you dump all of your raw crafting materials into the material storage without having to visit a bank or a crafting station, which I find really useful, especially if I've gone farming or I've gone doing big events like massive metas or something, where it's all fast paced. There's not really any downtime. It means I haven't got to try and find time to go to the bank or material storage. The next button is the compact button. This moves everything in your inventory up to the top available slots. If you're like me though, and you have a specific way of organising your bags and inventory in general, it could undo that organisation, so you have been warned. And this third button is the inventory options menu. Here you can decide whether you want the border around your items showing their rarity, new items to be highlighted, your bags to be split up or not, and when you've got the inventory as like one thing, whether or not you want the shared inventory slots to appear in the inventory or separate. The inventory automatically stacks items that are stackable. With most items, 250 is a full stack. Some have less than that. I don't believe any have more than that. And if you want to split the stacked items, you hold Alt and then left click and drag the item into an empty slot. A box at that point will appear asking you how many of the item you want to transfer into the new stack. And to undo the split, you simply click on one of the stacks and drag it onto the other and it'll put them back together. The last little bit to talk about in terms of layout is the icons at the bottom. They're your currency. So on the left you'll see a little button that's got a picture on it that looks like stacked coins. That opens your wallet. Here you'll be able to see all of the currency in the game. And on the right is usually your gold and whatever currency is pertinent to that map or most pertinent to that map. There are other items used as currency in the game, but if they have another use as well, like they're a crafting material or something, they won't appear in your wallet or at the bottom on the right hand side. Quick little thing about gold in this game, it's really simple to understand in terms of like how many bronze to silver and silver to gold. There's 100 bronze to 1 silver and 100 silver to 1 gold. That's it. In the guild I manage, I am known as the Crazy Bag Lady for reasons that are about to become quite apparent. For me, one of the first things that I do on a new character, or at least once I've got the materials or gold to do so, is set up their inventory. Because if I get that right at the beginning, or at least as early as possible, I don't have to think about it again for the rest of the time I play that character. There are several different bags in the game that have different functions and they come in different sizes as well. So the smallest easily obtained bag is 4 slots, meaning you can put 4 different items in them. Without going into ascended bags, the largest is 20 slots. You can do various achievements, collections, and in specific places get drops for larger bags, but 20 slots are the largest of the easily obtained bags. If you want to go into ascended bags, I believe the largest is 32 slots. So there's 6 different types of easily obtained bags in the game. There's the normal ones, which are literally the same as your starter pack, so they just fill up with everything. They don't have a specific function other than that. There's the craftsman's bag, which will automatically sort all crafting material into it. Anything that can go into the material storage, it'll sort into it. There's the oiled bags. They grab all of your junk, so everything that's merchant fodder. There's the equipment boxes. They sort all of your weapons and armor into them. And there's a variation on that, which is the fractal equipment box, which sorts different rarities. And there's 3 versions. So the uncommon, rare, and exotic. And the final one is the invisible bags or safe boxes. Those ones don't automatically sort anything into them, but the items that you do put in there are hidden from sell and salvage lists. So they're a great place for you to put stuff that you don't want to accidentally sell or salvage. Interestingly enough, the shared inventory slots also don't appear on the salvage list. So if you salvage all of one rarity of item, if that item is in the shared inventory slots, it won't be salvaged. All these sorting sort of mechanisms within the inventory bags only works if the bag has space in it. So if a bag fills up, it will look for the next available slot to put the item in. Just briefly going back to the actual bag slots themselves, there's a difference between the number of slots you get given as a free account versus a paid for account. So the free account get 3 bag slots, while the paid for accounts get 5 bag slots. It's not too bad because you can buy additional slots for gems. So if we're ignoring the ascended bags, so the collections and things, there are 3 primary ways that you're going to end up getting bags during the game. That's random drops, crafting, and buying. The random drops kind of speak for themselves. You'll get the bags as rewards or random drops for doing events, killing specific enemies, leveling, doing story, stuff like that. On your first character or while you're low on gold or materials, this is actually quite helpful, but you will hit the point where almost as soon as you see that there's an inventory bag as a reward, you're either going to destroy it or sell it if that's possible. So I don't want to go into too much detail here about crafting the bags because I'm going to do a video on crafting professions where I'll include bags. What I will say though is that they do cost. For each rarity and type of bag, you need to be on the right crafting profession at the right level. And then you've got to buy a rune of holding that corresponds to the size of bag you want to make. And on top of that, there's the materials. So if you're not a big gatherer, you will end up having to buy the materials. With the runes of holding, an 18 slot bag is 2 gold for the rune, and a 20 slot bag is 10 gold. So as you can see, there's a bit of a jump. On top of that, you've got, like I say, all your materials. To buy a rune of holding, you do just talk to the master crafters, which are NPCs, and the runes are not crafting profession specific. So it doesn't matter what character you buy them on, as long as they're accessible to the character you want to use them on, you can use them. The third way to get the bags are really easy, provided you've got the gold. That's to buy them on the TP, the trading post. So to access your trading post, you just press O or visit an NPC that's got the little scales above their head. And then you just navigate through the panels to get to the bags that you want. So a quick thing about buying versus crafting. If you're low on gold, then obviously every copper matters, at which point if you can gather most of the materials, it's usually cheaper to craft rather than buy. But you're likely to hit the point where it doesn't really make that much difference between whether you craft or buy your bags. Quick digression here to talk about the seller's fee that exists on the trading post, also known as the TP tax. When you list an item, the trading post is going to take a 5% cut, meaning 5% is going to come off whatever the price is that you see that you should get. If you sell it instantly, it's going to take a 10% cut. Not so bad on really small items, not even so bad on really big ticket items, but that grey area in the middle, this can make a huge difference to how much you actually get and how much impact it's going to have on your overall gains from the trading post. Right, so in addition to the bags that you're carrying on each individual character, you've got these shared inventory slots that I said I'd come back to. These are accessible by all characters at any time. There seems to be a couple of ways that people use them. Obviously, they're your slots, so you use them how you like. But I thought I'd run through the two main ways that I see people use them in game. So one way is that they put their gathering tools on them, so that they don't have to either keep going to the bank to retrieve them or buying multiple sets for each character. It's not so bad if you're buying a consumable style of gathering tool, because you can buy multiple sets and just leave them on each character. But if you've bought the infinite ones and put glyphs and stuff like that on them, it can get quite pricey, because each tool is 1,000 gems. So that's a minimum of 3,000 gems if you don't buy glyphs on top of that. The other way is what I've done, which is I've bought enough shared inventory slots to hold all of my portal tomes. So any of my characters can get to any place in the game that I've got a portal tome for without having to visit the bank to pick it up. So you've set up your inventory how you want it and been running around for a while. Maybe you've even joined a train or some massive events and you haven't had time to stay on top of your inventory. And it's full and your organisation has gone out the window. What do you do next? There are many ways to deal with a full inventory. This is just what I do. First, we need to create some space. So the first thing I do is I click the deposit materials button, because I'm bound to have picked up some materials along the way, even if I haven't actually harvested any. So by depositing them all in the storage bank, I've now got a little bit of space to play with. The next thing I do is check to see how many bags of loot I've got in my inventory. If I've got quite a lot, then I'll go and put the larger stacks into the shared inventory slots. That's just so that I don't sort of accidentally salvage them when I click to salvage all of one rarity type. Once I've done that, I'll have a look and see how much space I've got. If I've not got that much space yet, then I will go through and I will get all of my consumables that I might want to use now, like my transmutation charges, some keys if I've got a few chests to open, and essence of luck, stuff like that, and I will use those. By now you should have created enough space to be able to start opening the smaller stacks of loot bags. Open as many of them as you can, deposit the materials, and go through your consumables again, because we need to continually maintain that space that we've created. If you haven't got room in your shared inventory, you haven't got an invisible bag, do this at a crafting station or a bank so that you can put the stuff you don't want to accidentally salvage in there while you're just salvaging all, because salvage all of like a specific rarity is way easier and less time consuming than actually going through and clicking on everything that you want to salvage, particularly if you've got like 20 slot bags. So yeah, if you've got a paid account, you'll have 4, 5, 20 slot bags that you're potentially salvaging everything in. So there are different types of salvaging kits in the game. If you don't have the ability to make mystic salvaging kits, I'll show you those in a sec, then you'll want to use the following 4: basic, fine, journeyman's and master kits. And by looking at them, you'll see the rarity of them and use them to salvage the corresponding rarity of item. That's the basic rule of thumb for those salvaging kits. If you've bought the copper-fed salvage-o-matic from the gem store, this can be used to salvage everything below rare, so the yellow items. I have seen people in games say that you should get the silver-o-matic as well. I've not personally seen the point in that. The copper-fed costs 3 copper per salvage. I'm not sure on the cost of the silver one because I just don't use it. But in terms of what you actually get back from it, I personally don't see the point. Have a look into it, have a talk with people in the game, see what you think as to whether you want to buy the silver one. Once you can make the Mystic salvage kits, these tend to be used for rare items and sometimes exotics. It depends on how many Black Lion salvage kits you've got. It just gives you a better likelihood of rarer materials dropping from the salvage, that's all. So the Mystic salvage kits are created in the Mystic Forge using the following recipe. So you want 1 stack of fine salvage kits, 1 stack of journeymans, 1 stack of masters, all of which can be bought from an NPC merchant. I tend to use the one in LA, but that's because that's where I tend to use the Mystic Toilet. So he is located next to the anvil where you can repair your armor. In addition to that, you need 3 Mystic Forge Stones, and you can either buy Mystic Forge Stones from the gem store, you can get them as achievement rewards, or sometimes as rare random drops in chests. Because I'm not going into Ascended stuff until much later in these videos, the final salvage kit that I want to talk about are the Black Lion salvage kits. These tend to be used for exotics that you neither want to use nor sell. You get Black Lion salvage kits from Black Lion chest merchants, Black Lion statuette merchants, in achievement chests, and sometimes in the loot box system. Okay, so you've salvaged everything from your small stacks, you've dumped material into the material storage, you've gone through all your consumables again. Now you want to start opening your larger stacks. This might mean splitting them so that you're only dragging the amount into your inventory that you can actually open. So go ahead and right click and open all, and then literally you go through the whole process all over again. And it is from here on out very much a case of rinse and repeat until you've opened all of your bags and you have salvaged everything you want to salvage, you've ditched all your materials that you can into your material storage, and you've gone through all the consumables and consumed as many of those as you can. Okay, so by now everything should be open. You should have salvaged all your green, blue and white items, dumped all your materials in the material storage, and used any consumable that you can. So you should pretty much just be left with rare and exotic gear, materials that don't fit in the material storage, usually due to it being overfilled or too full, and stuff you want to keep. So the next thing we need to look at is what we can sell. What can we make some money on? If you right click on an item that you might want to sell, click on sell on trading post. This will then put up a list of all your sellable stuff for the trading post. And then you go down and you look at the amount of money it's going to sell for as an instant sell. What I tend to do is check the price of Ecto though, because rare and exotic gear, when you salvage them with Mystic and Black Lion salvage kits, you tend to get at least 1 Ecto. So, that's a glob of ectoplasm. So if what you're going to get for the item on the trading post is not more than the amount you'd get if you sold a single blob of ectoplasm, then it's not worth selling, but that's my opinion. So go through and sell anything that you want to sell, and then salvage the rest with either Mystic Forge bags or Black Lion salvage kits. I could not remember the name of them. We are nearly there now. So we should now only have a few items that we just need to get rid of in some way, shape or form. So the next thing I do is I head to my bank or a crafting station, and I stick all the stuff that I do want to keep but don't want to carry around with me into my bank. This might include materials, so I'll check the materials that I've got left in my crafting bags and just see if it's stuff that I generally use. If it's not, then I'll go and grab the stacks out of the material storage and I'll sell them. I usually try to keep one stack, even if it's something I don't use, just because you never know when a recipe is going to come up that you don't normally use but that uses this item. So just having one stack is usually good. Another quick tip: if you're looking for something to buy on the gem store, material storage expansion is always useful. The first expansion will actually double the amount you can store. So you can normally store 250 of each item. By getting an expansion, you can store an additional 250. I think I've got mine up to 750 at the moment, with plans to put it higher because my bank is just getting full of materials at the moment. So once I've done that, the next thing I will do is go to a merchant, an NPC merchant, and sell as much as I can, because most of what I should have left now, after I've deposited stuff in the bank, is junk. Or stuff that I'm going to carry around on me. So sell what I can to the merchant, and then I'll destroy what's left that I don't actually want to keep. And with that, you should have a clear inventory again, apart from the stuff you want to carry around with you, and be good to go again. That took way longer to explain than I'd anticipated. But you should now have all the information you need to just be able to clear your inventory and crack on with the game. So I hope today has been informative and entertaining. That would always be a good thing. And as always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell.